gone on. If anybody doesn't know, LCK went to 5 games. I don't want to spoil who won. And LPL is currently in game 5 right now, which is kind of insane. And so we get to see all of the best of the Western teams or the Eastern teams that we have to offer. I'm putting Team Secret and SE among those because they have a chance of going to playoffs, playing at Worlds, and I get to do that because this is our slander channel where we can say that every team from LCK, every team from LPL is just as good as VCS teams. Yeah, that's where I'll put them. That's what I'll say. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Base. I like it.
Base.
We'll say though, for Team Secret, if they don't get things going in the early game, I'm going to be a little worried about them because just like in game number 1, SE can just say, hey, we scale, right? They can just say, hey, we scale.
We scale. Yeah, I am mildly upset about the fact that Palette currently does not have Exhaust, because Exhaust against this combination of like the Lucian Nami, super good, especially when Lucian goes for this first strike rune. When you jump in and you have just all this additional true damage, you get all this gold. Exhaust ruins the gold you get on the rune. It drops the damage before it gets converted into that true damage strike that comes through. I know you got Glacial Augment, but you can kind of neuter and engage like an EWQ like combination with auto attacks from Eddie just by hitting your exhaust button, and it can completely change. All it takes is one all-in going poorly from the Lucian Nami to really make this lane into something that basically turns unplayable if the Aphelios ends up getting a kill, ends up getting a lot more pressure in the laning phase. And so I feel like Palette will have to make sure that happens, unless they're anticipating, like our desk was alluding to, the dives coming in, DNK really forcing. And you can see DNK is already passed very quickly to the bottom side of the map, is almost at the blue buff, is taking, I think, Gromp and blue at the same time or close to it. At minimum is going to have the Gromp ready to go, and then he's just going to shift immediately into bottom lane as Penguin wants the same thing, but against Dia1 in the mid.
Yep, not quite.
Not gonna happen.
Dia1 not stepping up far enough as he was hoping, and so ultimately he's just going to have to go ahead and just poke his head up, say what's going on, and then leave again as DNK also making his way down to the spot line, as you mentioned before, but nothing really there to do just yet. And with the knowledge, obviously, that Penguin is somewhere in his bot side jungle, it's going to opt instead just stand guard for now. Have that ward down so they know that he's not on his Raptors at the moment. They know he's on the red, so he's going to opt to go for that crab instead.
The one problem is DNK did get spotted on a ward that had just only expired in the river seconds ago. And they knew that DNK had taken all 20 CS outside of Krugs. He just like took the normal 5 camp clear into bottom side. And so they knew exactly where DNK was going to be. It's like he either crosses through mid lane and he goes for top side grab, or he just goes for bot side grab, which is exactly what happens. As the push in mid lane might yield DNK. I mean, with Artifact having to leave and then coming back with TP, it buys space for DNK to go cross map and go double scuttle in this particular case, as now Penguin is left without any really significant forcing move on the map. Celebrity and Palette, their wave is pushing against them, but he would have to sit around here probably at least another wave, so another 30 seconds before a gank could really be feasible, and that's assuming you can get on top of these two. So Penguin, he's on the Xin Zhao. He's with this team that's supposed to be able to help set up plays in the early game, but that right there does not bode well for his future. In fact, he's going to wrap back up. He's going to take his Raptor camp, and he's probably going to wait for the Wolf respawn. That, or he's just going to loop right back up the top side as Dia1 once again. He's charmed this time.
Does land. Huge flash as well, but the wind becomes lightning. But once again, IO1, he's known for just escaping with these slivers of health, and does it, but yet again.
Penguin trying to make the most of a bad situation because DNK has just been clearing a lot better. There's actually reinforcements coming from
multiple locations. It's about to get a whole lot worse. DNK and Emperor both there. The Flag and Drag is going to connect onto Penguin. They're not going to find that charm, and Penguin should eat the dirt. Down he goes. First blood going to the hands of DNK.
And that's the punishment coming through DNK. Not only that, but the movement also from Enfer coming out of what seems like nowhere, but able to make that happen is Dia1. He stayed for longer than he needed to. Artifact teleporting back kind of kept him locked in this lane longer than he wanted to. It gave this angle for Penguin to try to come in and gank. The miraculous escape and the move down the river gets first blood for the Jarvan. I was kind of hoping it would go into Dia1 because it was really close to this like soldier shift. Just barely missed Penguin. It was good on him to try to E out of the way to make sure Dia couldn't pull that last bit of damage. How went down off camera.
Oh my god, no.
Okay, Lucian Nami is a scaling pick, I guarantee it. Like, there's no way that this champion... This is not an early game combination. They just always lose. I don't understand it.
Oh my god, wow. Eats the dirt, doesn't even opt to go for the second kill. No. That's rough. You got Team Secret with this very early influential team 0-2 at the moment, down around 1K gold. Not looking too good. Not gonna lie.
No, not at all. And Celebrity not even Bernie heal in that exchange. Like, this is an Aphelios. Like, you should not be losing, or you should not be winning the early trades against the Lucian Nami. It's the combination of Palette getting the hook, the Glacial Augment making it difficult to put out damage. I don't know. It's just, it never seems to work out here in the VCS, and a lot of other places have the same problem where this Lucian Nami just feels like such a bait combination as Palette is left to his own devices here. Penguin had the W. He could have used that E to reactivate, maybe over the wall, but decides not to. Doesn't want to wander into invisible territory for him. Doesn't have any wards, so instead, just going to walk away.
Team on top lane. Hero Depth to pop that World Ender just to be safe. Emperor spooking him a little bit. Has to go ahead and hit that back, and Emperor just going to shove this whole wave in. Most likely look to back himself. Drag is up at the moment. DNK. Path his way down to this ball and does get spotted out by that control wither, unfortunately. So that's going to give that info as to where he is. Going to dash back over the wall, continue to farm. And I'm curious if we're going to see a bit of a scuffle for this dragon in the next couple of minutes.
I do wonder that too. Both teams are playing a lot more cautiously. It's just been a continuing thing where no longer can you kind of just take dragon on spawn. You have to be a little bit more cautious about when you're snagging the dragon because it's more dangerous to take. It does more damage to you. It takes a little longer to take as well. And because of that, it means that it's super easy to, you can jump off a wave, you can try to grab it like you did before. But if you do that, it's a lot simpler to try to punish you for that in a team fight setting. And so if Celebrity and Palette were to jump off and go to Dragon alongside DNK and they take a little too much damage, once again, Eddie and Zuhao should have the power to punish them if Penguin shows up, if Artifact shows up, and potentially lose a team fight the way that Rift Herald sometimes goes. So I'm expecting Rift Herald to actually be the first move before anything else. As SE should have enough power. They've got Renekton, like Emperor's feeling fine inside of this game. The Azir's feeling good about where they're at inside of this game as well. You pair that with this Jarvan, which hits level 6, and you've got a very, very solid combination of champions for team fighting, as you've got a good amount of AoE damage to work with inside of this one. So you can see them posturing. The Rift Scuttler does throw a little bit of a wrench into things, but it's only going to be around a little bit longer as a okay.
Hook goes long. Culling does get dropped from Eddie. Meanwhile, not quite going to find the kill. The Celebrity, though, is going to go over the wall. And instead, Palette is going to be the sacrifice once again. Tanking quite a bit, actually. Still buying a lot of time. As Dio1, meanwhile, was looking to run down Artifact. Celebrity needs to be careful here. Please don't let the sacrifice be in vain. But Penguin going to instead opt to murder the blue buff.
I have absolutely no clue what the plan was on that. Because again, you're trying to set up around top side, so you know you're playing weak side bottom lane. Like, you have no resource to work with. And you're still Aphelios Nautilus. Like, you're not usually winning fights. That kill was a little bit of an anomaly. And so the fact that they kind of, like, they throw a hook randomly out of the brush, they're trying to fish for the Nami, and then they get jumped on by multiple members, was just a tad confusing to me. It does open up top side. I mean, the setup was definitely there. I mean, ultimately, the job is done where there was no response. The 2 turret plates are just the one response you get in exchange for the Rift Herald, which it's not necessarily a positive play. But again, it felt like Palette and Celebrity didn't need to force down there at all to do what their team needed them to do. They could have just continued farming underneath the tower or farming underneath their base, and they would have been perfectly fine. They had more than enough space to work with. Instead, they grant a kill over to Eddie to get him back into the game pretty much unnecessarily compared to what you needed to.
Yeah, but this is the flash coming up from Penguin there to dodge away from Nile1, who ended up pulling up his DNK with that Rift Herald. Moving his way on down bot side here. No one there at the moment, so looking to just drop it. Maybe siege on his turret. If they could take this thing out, that would be pretty early on. Doubtful, but regardless, are going to attempt to at least just get a lot of that gold influx coming through. You can see Palette already just standing off to the side, wants to make sure that that gold isn't split 3 ways, and that is going to be a whole lot of gold going into their pockets there.
Yeah, Celebrity had red-white, and so when you pop the Onslaught from Severum, you get a bunch of Crescendum to work with, all the Chakrams on the white gun, which gives you attack scale.
They're going to get 300 gold to work with as well if they can find this kill. They get the knock-up down, goes Eddie, and it's just nothing that he can do. Penguin, he's like, sorry, bro, I gotta get this rep up, bro. We knew it was coming. Like, there's nothing we can do there. This turret getting lower and lower. Maybe they look for something as well, trying to take it out. So much coming out from those Chakrams right now. Down that turret goes. 10 minutes in, the first turret gets dropped.
Again, that both bot lanes feel like they're making boneheaded mistakes. Somehow Zunhao got hooked and died early on right there. The hook out of the brush randomly from Prolette when they're playing on weak side with no vision of the jungler. Artifact!
No, how do you miss that? That's so unfortunate.
Oh.
That's rough, buddy. That's a rough buddy moment right there.
Yes.
Dial 1 dashes again. He dashes away once again, dude. This guy will not die. He refuses.
No, he just won't. And that'd be pixels off as well. And this is the step up. Like, they didn't see where anybody else was on the wave. It's just so easy for DNK to jump in with the EQ. The fact that the ultimate didn't land onto Eddie, that probably would have executed him alone and been a little bit faster, but it just doesn't matter as DNK has the damage for it anyway. Is it's shocking the fact that everybody on TS just hasn't been able to find the same level of play that they've been playing at for a very long time. Maybe getting rattled by GAM. Maybe they don't care about this game because it doesn't impact their standings all that much. But SE came to play today. You can see that quite evidently inside of this series so far. And if TS doesn't step up their game, it feels like they are just going to lose, and that means SE is going to walk away with the playoff spot. We thought that there was going to be this big tiebreaker. Only yesterday was it that we thought there could be a 4-way tiebreaker for our last 2 playoff spots, and we were going to be in this massive semi-tournament where we were going to be playing through the VCS, but unfortunately, seems like it's not even going to be the case. We're just going to get the simplest solution of SE walking away with a win over Team Secret and taking that spot away unless Team Secret has something to say about it. So far, they haven't.
Yeah, listen, the best solution to a problem is usually the easiest one. And SC says, you know what? That's us winning. We need some more clockwork, copium right now if we want Team Secret to get this thing, get the ball rolling. A lot of teams are kind of hoping as well that TS finds something here as DNK not going to find the kill there onto Artifact. Just barely able to get out of the Cataclysm there. But yeah, regardless, like we were saying, a lot of teams are riding on the fact right now that TS needs to win.
They are. It's not that it's pretty important. TS winning would give us a lot better of a late game. It would be unfortunate as well because Cerberus's level of play, I feel like, has gone up pretty significantly. They were experimenting with their roster for a lot of the split. They were trying to figure out what they wanted to do as a team for a lot of the split. I felt like they weren't really meta adept for a good amount of the split as well, and it lost them so many series that it felt like if they were playing on the level that they were, in the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks, they probably would have been better off than, SE was at this point, especially given just how topsy-turvy that SE has been over the course of the split. But, we don't track just what somebody does in the last 2 weeks of games. We track an entire split for a reason. It's because SE came off to that electrifying start. They showed us what they could do. They're showing us once again just how talented that they can be on both an individual level and also their team coordination, working a little bit better today as they're taking it to Team Secret. Again, whether this is Team Secret's hardest effort, that is yet to be seen, but it feels like this is just SE taking a win that they absolutely need.
Yeah, definitely. So, a lot of pivots into mid lane. Drag is it's still up. It's been up for quite some time. Yeah. No one opting to go for it yet. I have a feeling that the second Rift Herald is going to get taken before we even see that first drag get taken.
I mean, it's really weird. I actually think this is super good for SE because they're the ones with the Azir. They're the ones with like the Aphelios waiting to scale, waiting to become like just great late game champions. And so if your first dragon isn't taken off the board by this Team Secret team, then like, how long is it going to be until Soul is contested against? You're just giving them more and more time that there's nothing that SE has to do on the map, right? Like if they don't take Dragon, if they don't start that timer up, then like right now, if you were to take every Dragon at the timer that it's at, it would be 35 minutes into the game. At that point, Aphelios is fed. At that point, Azir is fed. You've got your late game damage. Team Secret has to find better. Maybe that's the idea. Team Secret doesn't bother with the Dragon because they don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste the space they have in the game going after something that they don't think is going to be fruitful. Instead, they just want to fish for some gold value, fish for like Rift Herald and things that are going to net them some better mid game because that's where they're going to win this one. They don't want to worry about taking the late game challenge. If that's their intention, I think it's smart, but also they've done nothing, so I don't know.
Yeah, if they're gonna fish for it, they're gonna need some better bait because so far it hasn't quite been working out for them at the moment. Now you can see once again SE are already pivoting over to this Herald here, taking a look see, but with that little crab there is it's gonna throw a bit of a wrench in the gear this time around for them as they can't take it out quietly. So instead, opted to just chill in this mid lane, see the TP coming out to this mid lane, and now maybe they look for something here. Maybe they look to some kind of fight because we're still waiting to see TS kind of shine, right? It's their time is slowly but surely dwindling away, right? You pick this early game comp, you want to have this pressure, and now they're going to look to find something here. Actually, in this jungle, Hero did get caught out with the world under healing so incredibly much, is keeping him alive for quite some time, and the flash over the wall is going to allow him to live that much longer, buying his team some time, so now Team Secret should be able to take this Herald.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's been out there that hasn't seen like this tech on Aatrox, but Aatrox currently builds a lot more Eclipse, and you go for some more like lethality type early damage. Gore Drinker isn't as good as it was once, and if you want to go for hyper healing like Drain Tank style, you go Sunderer, and Sunderer is disgusting. You pop ultimate and you hit somebody with Sunderer, and you just get 400 health back. Like, per auto attack. It's absurd just how much this champion can do. I don't know where it was popularized. I don't see it all that often inside of pro leagues, but I do see it a couple of times where we cast an amateur, and we saw it specifically with Sniper that did it. And I swear he could 1v5 on the champion. Like, Sniper's done it so many times, and he absolutely ripped through teams on it. It's disgusting.
The scariest part was that, like, that was literally right after the whole healing reduction and all just come through, right? Durability. We're like, oh, surely he won't heal so much, right? And then it's just like he's popping like 400 heals here. And I'm like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, this is nerfed. This is what the nerf.
This is nerfed. What was it before this?
I don't even want to know what it was before this. Yeah. So I think against the Aatrox or against the Renekton, when you're constantly just like auto battle trading against him and you're using your E and your abilities, it's just so much healing. And so Hero really is under no threat. His side laning, once again, is pretty much unrespondable by Emperor. So that is one thing they do have to work on. One thing they do have to build on is Hero has just been really, really great side laning inside of this game. The Renekton in game one, this time the Aatrox has been something to build on. And Team Secret actually getting a little more momentum. They got the second Rift Herald. They're going to find that as actually Artifact is getting picked right now.
Yeah, looking pretty dirty indeed. Not looking good for him right now. Needs to back off. That mid tier 1 almost down. The Emperor's Divide coming through. They'll find a lot of damage. Eddie needs to be incredibly careful, though. Has to cleanse to get away from that one. And so Penguins instead is going to opt to take the damage down. He goes. The hook lands, actually, though, onto Hero. He can't heal his way out of that CC. Down he goes. We scale, boys. We scale. That's the name of the game.
And just find a fight. They're going to advance their position by about 1,000 gold. They're going to be able to probably knock down mid tower as well. They get gold in the right places as well. I think Celebrity picked up a kill. Deal1 picked up 2 during the course of that fight. It's just, it's so evident how easy it is for Celebrity to just kind of, or for this member, this SE team, to just dance around fights to the best of their abilities. It feels like Artifact has a lot to say about it. Like, you've got some potential for Hero to be a bit of a menace inside of team fights as well, but Artifact getting picked that quickly inside of a fight on this flank angle was just so massive. And what a call from Paulette. Just insta flashes the wall, the Gravitum coming through from Celebrity to lock down Artifact a little longer, and just using all those tools. It means that one of your major damage threats is gone. Eddie also popped the ultimate in the middle and stays for the control ward. What are we doing, Team Secret?
Gotta get that money, bro. Gotta get that money. Gotta get his bag up. I respect. I don't really respect. I don't know why he stayed, and he paid the price for it. He tried cleanse. He tried getting out, and he's like the only man left standing because of it. But like, was it worth it? Was that 30 gold worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see like the E Gale Force Flash Pog slide out of the Lucian, which was neat. But usually you want to see him do that into teams and not away from teams, because otherwise you're just not using the aggressive Lucian pick enough. And again, his positioning to take that ward was just so questionable in general, because they knew where DL1 was, and they knew that DNK was above them, so they knew the possibility of a collapse was around, and yet they took it anyway. Again, it feels like these are mistakes. The Team Secret, again, maybe it's lulls of just being in like, you know, you're in second place, you can't do worse, you can't do better, so who really cares how well this game goes? Maybe you're not that concerned about it. SE has a lot more to play for in this circumstance. I don't want to attribute it to something like that, because Team Secret just ambiently should be playing better than they are right now. But again, without stakes, maybe they've taken their monitors down, a couple of frames per second or something like that, I guess, so to speak, just because they don't need to worry about it as much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely that 60 hertz monitor. You can't play with that. It's just unplayable. It kind of feels like Team Secret, like they're about to drop a tweet like, guys, our donations are open for all the teams that want to go to playoffs. Like, if you want us to try a little harder, maybe just, some money our way, and we'll get back up to speed.
Yeah, nobody else did. Yeah, unfortunately, the biggest contribution came from Team Secret, but all right, from SE, I guess. Super Big Time Chicken's playing incredibly well. Actually,
Oh no, the
really
hook
nice
land,
hook on the
tidal
Zuhao.
wave though, and a lot of damage coming through. Is he gonna find the kill? Yes, he will indeed. The Culling gonna drop though as well, but it doesn't even matter. Not quite gonna get the kill. There we go. They will finally find it though. Meanwhile, the Celebrity picks up that kill onto Penguin. So not all is lost. They will go 2 for 1 at the end of the day with Emperor falling to the Culling.
Not that many like angles that they're fighting with on Team Secret. Given the fact that they've got, you got Ari, you got Aatrox, you've even got Lucian. It feels like they're fighting very one-dimensional path. Like they're fighting in a straight line most of the time, and that's just not how I imagine this composition having played out. It's definitely easier and superior team fighting coming out from SE, but even the ways that like Team Secret should be doing better, they aren't, which is concerning to me at least a little bit. Zuhao did have a very nice wave, was able to kind of use it before the hook came through to deny this, but I love DNK just kind of pushing out Penguin, forcing him to kind of E into the team as a half-hearted escape route. Not to mention, I think that Gravitum might do enough damage to just outright win the mid inner tower if it does tag, but thankfully Artifact slipping away from that means that you're able to get away and keep multiple members alive, as this has been huge from the side of SE. Just now setting up, DNK does have to EQ out, but like Team Secret does feel a little dead in the water at this point. They're gasping for air. They don't have a ton of damage on any given member. They haven't been team fighting particularly well. This is a little bit more of a rollover series than I thought it was going to be walking into our last series of the regular split here in the VCS.
Yeah, I was promised a close match here so far. It's looking pretty SE favored, and if things weren't looking bad enough, I just want to direct your attention to Dial 1. Second item has that Rabadon's, and Artifact is dead. Gets caught
Very
out.
dead. Yep.
Hate to see it. Not much really that to report there. Ran into a 3-man, paid the price, down it goes, and Dragon is taken. That's something that's we don't see as much. That's nice to see. Dragon gets taken over by Hero, and now in this mid lane, there's a bit of a staring contest here. SCT is both looking at each other, looking for that first move. I don't believe the tidal wave is available at the moment, so if they can find some kind of angle, maybe they look to utilize it, but are going to go ahead and opt to back off. It says Celebrity and DNK going to be applying some pressure here in this top lane. Look at it. Wow, he's just shredding that turret. That does not stand a chance. Rest in peace, that turret.
Yeah, once again, it's the red-white combination from
Red, white, don't fight.
Usage. Yeah, red, white, don't fight, or I guess time to fight, I guess if you're the Aphelios. In this case, using it for the advanced attack speed alongside the Jarvan. This was the pick. I mean, it's like they watched him come in on the ward that was just over the wall, and after that, I mean, he just threw a blind hook. Paulette has been kind of a thorn in the side of Team Secret all day, or at least for this series specifically. Game 1 was a little silent and made some questionable calls, but the Nautilus in this game has literally just been like, oh, you're out of position, you're hooked, you die. Like, that's all that it's been, which is props to Paulette for being able to find that. And once again, I think I've said this previously, but Celebrity and Paulette had a much better split. Like, it's been a while since Paulette has really been on our radar as being a support that's done some really incredible things. He's actually been on teams where he's been relegated and kind of pushed out by a substitute support for one reason or another. But it feels like this split, the two of them have stepped back up into kind of primary carry roles for this team, for this SE team. Their lack of existence, or their kind of quietness in the last couple weeks, has definitely showed itself for the reason why SE has fallen off a cliff pretty decently. The two of them have been struggling a bit more, but it's nice to see a game where they're kind of showing up where they need to. And coming into playoffs, they're two members that really do have to be leaned on. They and DL1 especially. Like we expect a lot of Enper, but every member of this team has the capability of carrying games and showing it right now. Enper has not had the greatest showing, but they still win.
Yeah, Pallet went out with the boys fishing, cast it the line, but it was a little too far. Gonna need some better bait, because he was the bait at the end of the day. Down he goes. No fish for him to post on his Tinder with that one, unfortunately. Will pay the price, and with him down, looks like Team Secret maybe going to go ahead and opt to not going to go for this Baron. Gotta still respect the lead that SE has.
Yeah, 6k, all the ultimates available for every single member that is around on the map. Paulette is not the most important member. He's got the one ultimate that I think is the most useful for just locking down individual targets and ruining this kind of straight line comp that they've been running most of the time on Team Secret. Ultimately, though, just bouncing. They'll take their kill. They'll walk away. They'll just get a little bit of gold. Team Secret usually knows how to not make mistakes, and that was a pretty Team Secret call to not go for the Baron and force in a 5v4 situation, even though they know they have numbers. They know the team fight doesn't necessarily go their way. Okay.
Taking their time here. Not sure if they want to opt for this Baron instead. Just a bit of a staring match. A lot of vision down, so both teams know what's going on. Probably want to wait. Yeah, take out that that is Azir turret first. That way they can kind of open up the map themselves a little bit more. But SE has opted to start that Baron, and they're shredding it fast. So if Team Secret wants to make anything happen now, by the time it's at 2K, it's at 1K, it's down, and it goes into the hands of SE. Artifact trying to get that steal, but not quite gonna find anything there. So with that, the siege potential from Celebrity, I mean, it was huge before. It's enormous now.
They just know. It feels like this crescendum has just been so gorgeous for Celebrity, ripping through towers, ripping through neutral objectives. Anytime he wants to use, anytime he just wants to pump DPS into something, it feels like they've got more than enough on the side of SE because this crescendum is always available. They're playing around that gun cooldown so effectively. And what are you supposed to do? I mean, I think Aphelios alone did half of that Baron's health bar in only about 10 seconds, which is just absurd given that he's only on 3 items. To have that kind of damage, to be able to put that out so quickly that no response can come through from Team Secret, as SE, now adorned in the purple buff, able to siege down some of these towers. Side laning, I think, comes a little bit easier as well for Emperor, where previously Hero was kind of commanding that matchup. Now the Renekton has at least a little bit of agency to work with.
Yeah, nothing that Team Secret can do there. Tier 2 gonna go ahead and get dropped. And so SE gonna look to shift their attention down to this bot lane. Want to take out that bot tier 2 as well. Emperor already prepping that wave up for him, serving on a silver platter, and there shouldn't be too much that Team Secret can do. The TP getting dropped out as well here. So now they're really looking to set things up here. Down goes this turret. The culling getting dropped. Everything they've got to try and hold them back, but it's just not enough. Turret goes down. A couple of cooldowns are out as well. And so now the world is SE's oyster right now, and they can just do whatever the hell they want.
Now closing out a game like this is, again, to me, it'll show another avenue. They've had struggles with it previously because they aren't the greatest of team fighting teams to close out a game. They usually find a way to, especially in the first half of Split, they found ways to close out games, but this is a reason why they've lost some games that they definitely should not have in certain circumstances against certain teams, is because, again, if they're not up a dramatic amount of gold and they don't have a team fighting composition, oftentimes they find themselves in struggle spots. Now here, they have a team fighting composition. They've got so much of a lead. There's not really much range to Team Secret's composition, so it should be relatively easy to close out a game like this, right? Worst case scenario, you can wait for dragons, but I feel like that's just too long of a time to have to wait for a team like this. Team Secret could really, really drag their feet and just say, okay, SE, you're going to have to take this one to Ocean Soul. You have to take this to maybe first Elder Drake, third Baron, something like that. But I would like to see SE with a little bit more viciousness kind of come out with some aggression to say, we want to clamp this game faster than that. They don't want to just take a win that TS is going to give them by saying, okay, you can just scale up and beat us eventually. They just like, how do you actually beat them now? Nice hook.
Yeah, nice hook coming up from Pallet there, but they're not going to let him off the hook easily. But Hero, it's just nothing he can do. So much DC comes through, tries to get on top of Celebrity, but just can't find it. Down he goes. They're gonna look to just push this bot lane once again. You see the triple backs coming out. All of Team Secret knows that they need to get back to the base and defend right now if they don't want to have what Service has been doing today happen to them.
It's Emperor actually makes a pretty decent move. They were really attracted to that play on top side of DNK.
Damage coming out. Tidal Wave getting dropped. Nice. DNK, though, just barely escaping that one alive. The Crescent Grab getting dropped here from Penguin, but it's not enough. Down he goes. Emperor to the back line, looking to find something. They're just going to take out this turret instead, though. Keep the offensive going. Going to look to get this inhibitor as well. Down it goes. And they're just going to back off. Thanks for the free inhib. Thanks for the free goal, baby. We scale. We scale.
At this point, I think they have scaled. I don't think they are scaling anymore. I think they're...
We keep scaling. We keep scaling.
We keep scaling. They're insanely strong as it is. They nearly get 2 towers just off the minion push that Emperor had set up on the top side of the map as well. And while it was looking like a decent fight to start off with, as Team Secret landed a couple of big, kind of big ticket ultimates to start that fight off, SE's just got so much gold, it doesn't matter. If you don't put that damage into Aphelios, into Azir, it's a waste. It ends up just not being all that much. You can't bring down the Jarvan that quickly. And now with Guardian Angel, like, it's such a chalked situation to be in right now from Team Secret. How are you supposed to bring down either of the frontliners with Guardian Angels? The only person you can really kill off is going to be Palette, and as soon as his Zonies is done, that's even going to be a really difficult task. And then all of this time that they are spending on the front line, all this time that you are not killing the frontliners, is time that Aphelios and the time that Azir have to really just pump damage into all the members of your team. And not a lot of members have built particularly tanky. Some of them a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more bruisery, but that's about all you can say.
Yeah, kind of rough spot when you pretty much have to kill 6 members of a team rather than, rather than just 5. Not in the best position at the moment. Regardless, Team Secret need to find some kind of opportunity to get back in this around a 10k, not 2k. Actually, they'd love if it was a 2k gold deficit right now. 10k gold deficit, not looking too good for Team Secret as my stream has frozen.
Yeah,
As we
mine
can
as
just
well.
see it. Yeah, Hug a Celebrity's beautiful, just wave here as he's looking to push that. Already looking at this positioning, it's looking to me like SER pivoting. They're looking to find themselves a nice little a little bait hook there. Maybe looks to me that maybe they're going fishing once again. They're gonna try and find someone that's out roaming after dark in these woods.
It would be very nice to do so. And again, this is kind of how SE has been in the rough straits of playing as of lately, because again, they do have difficulty kind of like hard close off games without a big team fight. And so Team Secret, once again, dragging their feet, just making sure it's a little more difficult for SE to be able to do something like this. You do still have the timer on dragons that are going to be here eventually. You do still have a lot of these neutral objectives that you're going to be commanding. But I feel like Team Secret honestly might just be an annoyance to them and just say, yeah, well, you can take those. We don't care. We'll make you go take those and then force into our base and like take team fights. And if you have one bad team fight, it's going to take you another 5 minutes to actually do these things, which is that, or maybe Penguin just throws.
Penguin, oh my god, the Crescent Strike getting dropped is going to save his life for a little bit longer, and so ultimately he will stay alive, and he needs to be incredibly careful of those soldiers from Dai doing so much work, and so is Celebrity picking himself up too. Gonna keep on moving. Empress Defy gonna get dropped. Try and find someone. Won't quite get anyone though. Celebrity with the flash going in, trying to get that triple, but the exhaust finally getting dropped. Hit him with the Everfrost as well. You bought yourself a little bit of time, but now you need to hold the line against the entirety that is SE. The playoff dreams here are looking like a figment of reality for a lot of these teams that were hoping for that tiebreaker, because SE has the base cracked wide open. No more inhibitors and no more Nexus turrets soon if Celebrity has anything to say about it. Down go both. Nexus is exposed. They don't even want kills. They're not greeting. Never mind, they are. But they're not going to find any because the Nexus is going to explode. And with that, SE and